I'm going to show you today how to prepare chicken and vegetable casserole parcel. It's a great recipe, it's very quick, takes 5 minutes, 30 minutes of cooking time, but it's straightforward. So we're going to start with our chicken breast, and this is for one child, but you want to remove any of the nerves and fatty bits. And that's more or less ready.
I think the important thing for children is to watch the salt, no added salt, watch the sugar, no added sugar, watch the fat, no added fat, and then after you've worried about all of the avoiding, get a big balance of different types of foods.
So you want about 50 grams of courgettes, but to be honest, you just want to use about a quarter of a courgette. And that's probably enough, bearing in mind it's one portion. And a stick of celery, just chop off the ends. I normally peel my celery because I find for children sometimes it can be a bit stringy. So if you peel it, you just take the stringy bits out. It's easier, it's just less stringy. It's a nice way to get kids to eat their vegetables if you happen to have a problem with that sometimes.
All vegetables are good. Different vegetables convey different vitamins and minerals. If I was pushed to pick the best vegetables out there, I would say broccoli is a very good example of a good vegetable, has a wide range of vitamins and minerals, good source of vitamin C. Red peppers are fantastic.
So you just want to slice your celery up small. And again, I'm showing you very roundabout quantities here because you can adjust them. So that's probably enough celery. Move it all to the side. And you're going to use about half of a big carrot. This is an absolutely enormous carrot, so I'm going to cut it in half the other way too, so the pieces aren't too large.
The difference with the preschool children is they won't often be able to manage an adult-sized portion, and all children are different sizes and different shapes. So as a general rule, what we advise is that the parent gets the child's hand and puts the vegetables in, and whatever the amount that the child can hold, that is a child-sized portion.
And then with leek, you want to just cut the end off, remove the tough outer leaves because they're not so nice, and then wash it. So I've removed the tough outer levels, and then you just want to give the end a chop just to make sure it's clean inside, so you can flick through and just see that there's no dirt in there. And then you just want to cut the white bit. And you're basically just going to sprinkle all of these vegetables around the meat in a foil parcel. So I've actually made up some stock. I've cheated, I have to be honest. I've used a chicken stock cube. Normally I wouldn't use a chicken stock cube. I don't like them because they have too much salt.
Stock cubes are quite salty. So if you were to make your own natural stock from, if you're boiling off your vegetables, you use your vegetable stock, and maybe if you're boiling up your chicken or you're cooking your chicken, you throw in your bones and you just stir it in. Perfect stock.
You're making a parcel, so you want enough liquid to cover the chicken, about 3/4. So that's probably about the right quantity. I also sometimes put tomato puree in. This is optional. You can decide that you want to use it or that you don't want to use it. Probably about half a tablespoon. Just gives it a nice flavour. But it's nice both ways. And you just mix your tomato puree in with your stock. We're going to do this recipe today with couscous, another great one I'm going to show you, which is very straightforward to prepare. But you can do it with mashed potatoes or sweet mashed potatoes. You could do it with pasta, fettuccine. So it's quite easy to mix with anything. As far as an accompaniment, right? Then we want to take a piece of silver foil, and you're going to make a parcel with your foil. Actually, it's great because it helps. There's not much washing out. You want a piece of foil that's big enough to put the vegetables and the chicken on and to wrap into a parcel. Put a bit of olive oil, just a tiny bit, on the foil, and just baste your chicken in the olive oil. And then just take half the vegetables, put them on the bottom, some courgettes, And as I said, you can do this with anything you've got in your fridge, vegetable-wise, so you can mix. Put your chicken on top. Put the rest of the vegetables on top. And you more or less have an instant chicken casserole. Bring up the sides of your foil because you're going to be pouring liquid in, and you don't want the liquid to pour out. So bring your sides up, both ends, and just squeeze them quite tight. So when you're cooking, because it's going to be in the oven for about 30 minutes, when the liquid is hot, it doesn't pour out. Okay, then you take your chicken stock and your tomato puree. So you're going to pour the liquid in. I've actually made a little bit too much liquid here, but just to give you an idea, you want the chicken to be surrounded by liquid because it's the liquid that's going to make the couscous nice and the pasta. And then you totally seal your parcel so the liquid doesn't all turn to steam and disappear by the time you open it up. And there you have a little chicken and vegetable casserole parcel. You want to have your oven preheated to 180 and you basically bake that in the oven. Take your baking tray and put it in the oven for 30 minutes.
Just be careful not to go for chicken, for instance. Fresh chicken, excellent. Chicken nuggets, not such an exceptional source of protein because often the nuggets have been made by reformed chicken, so you've got added additives and various things in there, so it's a little bit tainted.
This is the quickest way on the planet to make couscous. No steamers, you can see just the chicken stock. Okay, that's nice, now it's dissolved. And again, couscous, it's funny, it's a bit like rice. It looks like you're not using very much, but you only need a tiny bit because it doubles up. Just see how much that makes. And you tend to want to pour enough liquid to go about 1 centimetre above the layer of the actual couscous itself because the couscous is going to absorb all the liquid and fluff up. So you want to put enough in so it gets nice and moist. So that's probably... And then you cover your bowl with a plate and that's it. You leave it for 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't really matter now, the chicken's in the oven, so we can just leave it like this until we're ready to use it. And you just set it aside. So the chicken's been in the oven for 30 minutes and we're going to take it out and serve it up with the couscous. Okay. So remember what I said with couscous, that you don't need a steamer. Let's hope this has worked. Okay, so the couscous has really absorbed all the liquid. We look like we started with a lot of liquid, but there's none left now. So you take a fork. I wouldn't use a spoon because you crush the grains. And you just want to fluff it up. And there you go, you have your couscous. So we will now get the chicken, put some couscous on the plate, because we're going to put our chicken on the top. So we're going to open up our chicken. I love cooking the chicken and the vegetables in this way because the vegetables have steamed in their own juices, so all the goodness and the minerals and the vitamins are still intact and you haven't lost them in the cooking liquid. Actually, I don't need the oven glove.
The chicken and vegetable casserole parcel, again, is a really good example of a balance. It's good to see that there are vegetables, there's meat, and the parcel is the sort of the starchy bit round the outside.
And then you've got the gravy, if you want to just pour a bit of the gravy on with all the vegetable juice. And then you have a chicken casserole with vegetables that really took you about 5 minutes to prepare and 30 minutes to cook. And is delicious. So enjoy.